Peace on Earth. Ethan Indigo Smith here. Episode 1 of The Philosopher Stoned. First, let me just thank you, Rachel, for the idea of the title. I hope this is entertaining for you and all. Episode 1 of The Philosopher Stoned. The Philosopher Stoned, where we cover all things esoteric and exoteric, and we leave no stone unturned. And we do so a little bit high on cannabis. All right, episode 1, we're going to fittingly cover, I am going to fittingly cover a Hegelian topic. And this essay, what I call the Master Slave Dialectic, which is most commonly called that, is titled the Lord Bondsman Dialectic. And it is from Hegel's book, The Phenomenology of Spirit or Mind. And it's an outstanding political idea that has been used by political influencers for 200 years, as a matter of fact, whether they might know it or not. And it was published in 1908 in Germany. I believe it was published, according to what I've seen, 100 years later in English. The outstanding idea of let's just call it the Master Slave Dialectic, because language has shifted so much that no one uses the term bondsman like that anymore. The outstanding idea of the Master Slave Dialectic is that it transverses the esoteric and the exoteric. It is not limited to either or. In fact, Marx is one of the most notable people to utilize this idea from Hegel's Master Slave Dialectic. And the main idea of this idea being that is that when two different beings, two different consciousnesses meet, there will inevitably be one that is stronger than the other. And inevitably, one will try to enslave the other. The stronger enslaves the weaker. Whether overtly or subtly, we see this take place via states all throughout history. Hegel actually describes the revolt of the slaves out of Egypt and several other circumstances, allegorical and literal, to convey the idea. So when the stronger meets the weaker, he enslaves the weaker. But that's not the end of the story, of course. The weaker will continue to be admonished and not seen for its consciousness by the stronger until the weaker fights back. And when this occurs, one will kill the other, or they both will recognize the other as being an independent being of consciousness. I believe Hegel was inspired by what he saw, or rather related even what he saw in the Haiti revolt, where literal slaves revolted against the master. And now what we're seeing today in Ukraine is evidence of the master-slave dialectic taking place right in the present. The stronger entity is trying to enslave the weaker entity. Russia is the big bad bear, supposedly, and Ukraine is the little bear, the old country. And Ukraine is now seeing itself as a collective, as an independent consciousness from Russia. In fact, that's really their whole foundation, is that they are an independent consciousness entity. And so when these only when these beings fight will they finally address the other as a consciousness equal to their own. And right now, Ukraine is in a fight for its consciousness. And we're seeing what has changed in the last 10 months in Ukraine is it's cemented more of a coalesced consciousness in their collective, right? And we are seeing, hopefully, Russia will learn that they are dealing with an independent state of consciousness, or they'll be destined to repeat themselves. It seems that if we look through the lens of history, many other countries have realized that they, in fact, might lose a master slave confrontation. And, and they want to increasingly recognize others as equal, equal beings of equal level of consciousness. This is a way for one to look at one's internal world as well, right? Are you a slave to your base animalistic pursuits? Or are these two aspects of consciousness that could be simplified as good and bad, the whole idea of the uh, entities, daemons, or whatever, giving you bad and good advice on each side of your shoulder, right? We really have an internal war going on, each and every one of us, of our own master slave dialectic, and how we're going to pursue taking um, interactions with other individuals. Are we going to be crude and base, um, as many different cultures and countries have done throughout time, and that Russia is currently doing? They're acting as if Ukraine is not an independent set of consciousness. And as soon as Ukraine or anyone or any group realizes that they have the right to self-determination and self-defense, then the master slave dialectic is instigated, and hopefully Russia will finally face losing so that they can see others as independent states of consciousness that are worthy as just as much respect, wellness, and appropriation to liberty as they're trying to export or extort. Interestingly enough, Marx, the philosophical founder of communism, bases his whole idea off of a master slave dialectic aspect of that, and his master is the bourgeois, the owners of industry, and his slave are the workers. And inevitably, there's going to be a worker revolt against the owners of industry. That is his whole proposition, based on Hegel's master slave dialectic. Except that's not what is happening. What is happening is that people are pursuing liberty outside of systems that are actually repressive, where there is an owner of a system, and that does not change. In the West, anyone is capable of becoming a proverbial master of self and uplifting others instead of repressing their workers. What might actually happen is that they see their workers as independent states of consciousness and thereby uplift them. And this is what is happening is in the West compared to what is happening in the East. And communism is the enslaver. It is the bondsman, right? It is doing so with a utopian vision of the future. That there is this expected perfect utopia future so that hardship can be not only endured, but perpetuated on the proverbial slave group, which turns out is bigger than just what Marx proposed as owners and workers. It's not that simple. It actually comes down to those who are overtly violent and those who are overtly repressive and otherwise. So, communism is a whole series of social influences to manifest a proletariat revolution. And in fact, they didn't do step one of the Master Slave Dialectic, and that is recognize all others, including their neighbors that might be uh, practicing a different political system or spiritual system or what have you. They don't see them as independent states of consciousness and thereby steal their liberty and their lives because they think they have the right to. So, master slave dialectic is being played out right in front of our eyes in Ukraine. Slava Ukraini, excuse my redundant expression of the term. I see Ukraine as being the bondsman breaking off the slave master's chains of hundreds and hundreds of years of oppression from their master. And so I hope they get all the liberty they deserve. So, peace.